A young woman serving life in prison for the brutal Feenz murders back in 2006 will have her life sentence reviewed and possibly reduced.
Ashley Toye was 17 years old and pregnant when prosecutors say she and others brutally tortured two teens before shooting them to death and burning their bodies in a car in Cape Coral.
Tonight, 4 in Your Corner investigator Mike Mason has the exclusive jailhouse interview with Ashley Toye, who's speaking about that awful night and why she's now fighting to be released from prison.
Yeah, these infamous killings were known as the Feenz murders. The ringleader of that rap group by the name was Kamar Johnston. He and his girlfriend were convicted of both murders and sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms in prison. Tonight, in a rare interview, Ashley Toye talks about her role in the murders and why she feels she deserves a second chance. I met 24-year-old Ashley Toye in the visiting room of the Low Correctional Institute in Ocala. During the interview, the AC was broken and it was a steamy 90 degrees. I'm hoping it'll cool down in some way here. There's no way to turn it on, huh?
I don't think it's gonna come on.
Okay. Toye agreed to tell her story and relive the chilling events that happened the night of October 6, 2006. It began at her boyfriend's birthday party. Kamar Johnston was turning 20 and his friends gathered at his home in Cape Coral. But Toye says she had no idea the night would turn deadly and 2 teens would be brutally tortured.
It's a horrible thing. I can't even think about it.
Okay, so then they're hogtied.
Mm-hmm.
Then what happens?
Just give me a moment. I don't like talking about it.
Before the night was over, 18-year-old Alexis Sosa and his 14-year-old nephew Jeffrey would be dead. Toye has had 6 years to reflect on what she did that night and feels she now deserves a second chance. So why should they let you out of prison?
I'm not a menace to society. I'm not a monster like everybody says. I am. I made a mistake. You know, I learned from it. It's been 6 years.
Before the murders, Toye says her relationship with Johnston was abusive, both physically and emotionally.
He used to, you know, punch me right here and right here. And nobody could see it. And he would whip me with his belt.
With his belt, okay.
And lock me in closets and hold guns to my head.
2 months before the murders, Toye became pregnant and says she was under Johnston's spell. She claims she had no choice but to participate in the Sosa's murders. The night the Sosas arrived at Johnston's birthday party, Toye says people were shocked because the 2 teens were known enemies of Johnston's. And it didn't take long before it was clear something horrible was about to happen.
At first, he gave everybody a choice that everybody could leave. Whoever wanted to leave could leave, and whoever wanted to stay could stay.
Johnston allowed some people to leave, but several stayed, including Toye. According to records, the Sosas were then hogtied and held at gunpoint.
That's when the torture came into play.
Toye says Johnston orchestrated the torture, snubbing out cigarettes on Alexis's skin as Jeffrey cowered in a corner. Prosecutors say the Sosas were also tasered and beaten, and at one point, Johnston pulled out a knife.
He ordered everybody to do something because he wasn't going to be the only one going down for it. That's when the knife got passed around.
The knife gets to you. What happens?
And I cut it into Jeffrey.
What did you cut?
And they say an asterisk. I don't remember doing it. Honestly, I don't. I was in a state of shock.
During trial, witnesses testified some even carved the letters CF into the Sosas' backs, which stood for Feenz, all while the Sosas screamed and pleaded for their lives. But according to Toye, the Sosas were threatened to keep quiet as they were being tortured.
They were ordered not to talk.
Even
we were
they
ordered
were?
to do, yes.
So if they talked, they were...
They're probably going to get shot.
So they had to be quiet while they were being cut?
Yes.
But you took that knife and you sliced his back. How did that feel?
It was just chaos after that. I believe they tied him up.
With the shoelaces?
Yes. God, I haven't talked about this in a long time. And they ended up putting them in the car.
And there's a little more that happened before that. But the bleach?
Oh, yes. The bleach was poured.
Witnesses testified bleach was poured into the Sosas' wounds as they screamed in pain. Toye denies being a part of that, but claims she doesn't remember all the details of what happened that night. But do you remember the human feeling of them not wanting to die? I mean, they knew they were going to die.
I can only imagine. But I can't.
Toye does remember the feeling of being forced to participate in the torture.
I just did it because I felt like I had no choice.
What did you think he would do to you if you didn't do it?
Probably kill me. I mean, I'm seeing very well what this man is capable of. It's happening right in front of my face.
After 2.5 long hours of torture, the Sosas were only moments from death.
They were taken out to the car and they were driven to the industrial park.
The Sosas were taken to the North Cape Industrial Park off Andalusia Boulevard.
I didn't see anything. We just heard gunshots. The only thing going through my mind was, oh my God, he killed these people.
The Sosas' bodies were thrown into their own car and it was set on fire. It would be a couple of weeks before Toye or anyone else was arrested for the murders.
But we knew to keep our mouth shut. Nobody that is in that type of lifestyle is going to say anything for fear of what's going to happen to them.
Now Toye has had 6 years to reflect on what she did and wishes she could change what happened that night.
I can't talk. It's serious to me, you know? It's a big thing.
Feel bad?
Of course. I can't imagine. I put myself in their shoes every day.
And coming up tomorrow night, Ashley Toye says she's a different person now and wants to move on with her life. We speak with her attorney who is fighting to help her do just that. Live in the studio, Mike Mason, Fox 4 in your corner.